All right. Welcome, everyone, to NGS Week 7. We've got a matchup tonight against TRSG Knights, and we are scaling. Teams are actually pretty on top of stuff today. Waiting in lobby, ready to get started. Our map for tonight is going to be and I turned all of my audio down, which is no good. All right, we should be good to go now. So yeah, welcome Dark Horse. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing well, thank you.
So a little bit about the matchup tonight. We are these teams are tied in the rankings. You know, we're getting towards the end of the season, and this matchup should have some serious playoff implications. So yeah, we are going to Volskaya Foundry, TRSG Knights. They banned out Battlefield of Eternity and Tomb of the Spider Queen. We are scaling banned out Braxis Holdout and Dragonshire. So some pretty popular map bans. Volskaya is, I think, the number 1 played map in the pool right now. I guess going into Volskaya, what are you looking for as far as the draft, Dark?
So as far as draft goes, anybody who can stand on a point forever is really good, and anybody who can siege into a point forever is really good. Makes kind of the artillery mages really popular here, so Chromies and Li Mings. Junkrat's certainly not bad, though he's probably a higher skill than those other two mentioned. I don't. Hopefully, I'm not offending any Chromie or Li Ming players. Junkrat is just a lot about his utility, so if you're not getting that utility, you're getting nothing. Chromie has the utility of the time trap, but if you're not getting time trap, you're still doing 80,000 damage game. And Li Ming has the resets, but if you're not getting resets, you're still poking away.
Right.
Tanks that can stand on there forever. I like Rexar on this map personally, but I like Rexar a lot of places. Obviously, Diva and Gazlo are super strong right now. Gazlo's great for point control. There's a lot you can go into.
Yeah, and one of the big strategies on this map is camps, because that turret camp comes up, I think, every minute, right? So, if you're
So the turret camp comes up right at 1 minute. I thought the cooldown was a minute and a half, which put it back up at 2.5 if you did it right away, but maybe I am wrong. I could be wrong about that.
But you have a chance. See, you know way more about the game than I do, so I'm just here to talk a lot and have some fun. I'm relying on you for all the in-game analysis. But yeah, so you do have a chance to have 2 turrets going into the first objective.
So yeah, a lot of times teams will try and get the first turret right at a minute or very shortly after, and then during the first objective, it will come up again. If they're on it right away, then usually it's not immediately, but you can hold that first turret for a little bit and then come back with 2 and try and push the opposing team off with 2. It's a good strategy. Obviously, the healing beacon is always contested too. That one's probably the stronger of the 2, unless, of course, you're running Sylvanas. And then that turret might just outdo that healing if you can focus someone down.
Right, and I think that's Mercenary Queen, right?
Yeah, the Merc Queen.
That buffs the turret, so it's a really strong presence there on point.
You can find a lot of like the WTF moments on YouTube where they drop 3 turrets and then Sylvanas is standing there and it just mows down an entire team.
You got 3 machine guns just buffed, just mowing down the enemy team. I mean, Sylvanas is very strong on this map too. I mean, you don't necessarily think too much as far as point control, but if you do get the protector, I mean, she can shut down your towers. She's obviously buffing your turret camp, so there's a lot of ways to go with this.
Yeah, I think Sylvanas is another one of those high skill heroes, but one that's always been pretty good. Um, Even before the tower changes, I think she was super strong. And now that the tower, or the forts and the keeps at least, will focus you for attacking enemy heroes, I think ever since then she's been an A tier hero in my book. Because you can use those black arrows to turn off a fort to save a teammate and let you guys dive on top of stuff and make plays that they're not expecting.
Right. And then
Interestingly, oh sorry, go ahead.
I would say, well, and if I remember correctly too, in this last balance patch, they buffed the tower damage to heroes. Am I correct?
Yep, that's all the towers are 10% harder hitting against heroes specifically. They still hit minions and everything else the same.
All right, and we're just moving right along into the draft. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off in the middle of your thought right there.
No, you are good. I was just going to say that Sylvanas, while we were talking about her, has been banned against We're Scaling 6 times and banned by We're Scaling 6 times. So in most of their games, they choose to either ban or get it banned against them. So it's definitely a priority hero in their book.
Right. And then right off the bat, we see ETC banned. Strong tank, especially for the engages, especially your rotations from mid to top. Catch some ganks as the teams are rotating around the camp, the healing camp there. So, plus with the level 13 buff a couple of patches ago, with the cooldown reduction on his W, still very strong hero.
Yeah, I think we can all say that it was overpowered when it came out, and it's probably reasonable now. I don't even remember. It was like 8% per hero hit when it first released, right? It was something crazy like that.
Yeah, I think it was 8%, and then there was feasible to get 2 moshes off in a single fight. Which is,
yeah, especially if there's a Tomorrow or Vikings or something where you could hit a bunch of extra heroes theoretically.
Right. So other bands coming out, we've got Tassadar on the side of TRSG. Knights, another good long-range poke hero with percent damage on that Q build. And we see Stukov and Greymane on the other side. And the insta-pick Gazlo.
Gazlo is strong right now. I definitely think he's A tier in my book as well. Yeah, interesting. They left Gazlo and Diva up. I do know that Lexi Decimal in particular does like playing Diva. She's played it a couple times recently. We might see an early lock on that one before they ban it in the 3rd phase.
Yep. And Gazlo's really strong for point control with all of the turrets. And, with all of the buffs recently. So, looking forward to some Gazlo play. I'm never going to complain about seeing Gazlo come out in a match.
So I actually love watching Brightwing too. I think Brightwing's a fun healer. Very unique. She got buffed a few patches ago, and it seemed like nobody liked her for a little bit. And then, like this last patch, even though nothing changed with her, I don't think everybody decided to start using the buffs from a couple patches ago. I think it's a fun change of pace for the healers.
Yeah, and I've noticed she's been coming out a lot more lately. In Storm League games, I've noticed a lot more Brightwing. So I think it's fun to play. It's fun to see some shakeup in the healer meta, not just your Anna, Decker, Anduin types. All right, and then we have Kel'Thas and Tychus coming out. Tychus also recently getting some love in this last patch. Getting the level 1 buff, I think it is, right? Where he has his attack range increased by 1.
Yep, which puts him at the exact same attack range as like Vala and a lot of those other standard auto attackers. I think Lunara has the same one. Cassia is actually a little shorter, and I think Raynor is a half a point longer. But most of the auto attackers sit right where he is if he takes that level 1 talent. Interestingly, they took a very high pick rate level 7 talent. I think it's called Quarterback, that increases your grenade range by 50% and put it down there too. So there's a couple that could at least compete, but that auto attack range is hard to pass up.
Yep. Cho'Gall. Okay.
So I almost said that when I saw the Brightwing. I almost said, because Brightwing, if you take her level 1 talent, she heals for an additional 10% on phase shift, which is 35% of health, which on a Cho'Gall late game is stupid. And then her 13 or 16, I don't remember for sure which one, If her shield is on somebody and then you phase shift to them, it does an additional 75%, I think, healing.
Right.
Meaning you can do heals for like almost 2,000. Like it's outrageous health.
Yeah.
And just
I mean, they are playing
them by keeping them alive.
Yeah, I mean, they are playing into the Tychus, and if they play the trait build, can get a ton of value out of that with the Cho'Gall. So,
That is very true.
Interesting to see how that happens. I would have liked to have seen an Anna come out for the healer spot on the other side to deny that Brightwing healing.
By fire be purged!
Yeah, definitely could have been a good choice. A little bit of a skill healer there as well if you're not comfortable with her. I'm not sure whether Synclip over here is comfortable on her, but if you're not, it's probably best to avoid her. She's definitely one of those high skill, high reward heroes.
Yeah, for sure. But Uther does bring a whole lot of crowd control. So as Brightwing comes in, you know, you've got the taunt, you've got the Uther stun, you've got gravity lapse, grab a bomb. So Brightwing can definitely be a blow up target, and then if Brightwing's dead, she can't heal.
Yeah, that is very true, and they have a very limited CC on the opposing side until level 16 at least, when those lead orbs start flying. So could be interesting. I think the early game should be stronger for TRSG Knights here, especially after level 4 for a little while. But as everybody knows, Cho'Gall can be a menace in the late game, so we'll have to see if they can hold their footing until they get all those high-end power spikes.
Very true, very true. I have to say I'm kind of split on the draft. I think this one could go either way. It's all going to be about how
combat
how they're able to deal with the Cho'Gall.
Yeah, I agree. I do like the Ragnaros pairing. This is something you'll see a lot with heroes that want to get to the late game. If you take Ragnaros and go Lava Wave, he can kind of drag you into that late game where you can start winning team fights.
Right.
So I would expect a Lava Wave Ragnaros here to help them with the XP early game where they feel like they'll be weaker.
Yeah, very true. So for our blue team, we've got Uther played by Synclip, Kael'thas played by It's Just Lugo, Tychus played by Howling Knight, Varian played by Selm, and Gazlo played by Chairglue. Who do we got on the red team there, Dark?
We're scaling. We have Torsil or something like that on Brightwing. Ikathor is how I'm going to go with the Cho'Gall's name. And Leo on the Stab Daddy himself, Imperius, with Lexidecimal rounding him out on Ragnaros.
All right. So pretty standard rotation so far. Looks like the wave clear with TRSG is looking a little bit faster.
Yes, it is. And you can see they're punishing that early Cho'Gall a little bit too by just poking at him. He should get healed back up by Brightwing, but making him think about the hard engage over and over again. And doing a really good job just kind of interrupting that rotation to try and keep ahead on the soak because they started a little bit ahead.
Yep, so they're getting the rotations down quick. Looks like pretty standard early game. We didn't get a whole lot of blow up kind of in the middle of the start of the game, which is surprising. I know that's my favorite part of the game, so we sit here and brawl.
I mean, if you don't blow all of your mana in the first minute, are you even playing Hans?
I don't know. So we do see TRSG getting the camp much quicker, much faster on that timing, and a little farther ahead on the rotations. And we have we're scaling now, just starting on their camp, so they will both have at least one turret ready for the wave, or for the first protector coming up.
Yeah, so this is part of the inherent problem with early game Cho'Gall, is it's hard to keep up with the macro. You're just one body down, and there's 3 lanes to cover, and that's letting them split 1 or 2 heroes to get these camps up and rolling, while it's hard for we're scaling to match.
We got Gazlo down there doing Gazlo things. Going up against the Ragnaros. It's a pretty even matchup so far.
Yeah, I've been jumping down there a couple times, and they seem to be doing all right. Interestingly, Ragnaros is going into that full W, I believe, build, which I do not see very often. It's usually either the Q or the poke.
We do have level 4s. It's interesting to note we do have taunt now. So they're really going to have to be conscious of this engage from Varian. So this section right here in the middle is going to be very scary for the next little bit as they kind of rotate.
Yeah, for sure. It's a hard power spike at level 4 for Varian teams, really until level 10, because he has his ult and nobody else does. And you can feel that in the team fights a lot of times.
Alright, and so they got ahead, and they now have the healing camp. So TRSG doing pretty good with the camp timings, everything very, very early on.
Yeah, and you'll notice here that their turret comes up in 30 seconds, but the opposing turret comes up in a minute, so that's why people try and grab that quick.
Yeah, big engage there on the Ragnaros, but able to heal through it, and a big stab coming through on Imperius.
Yeah, that stab Imperius very much so saved that team fight for him, I think. Turned it around for him, but it still could go either way. Just got him back into a rough start.
Everybody's getting poked out kind of low. We're going to get a reset and then kind of re-engage here on the point.
Yeah, we might see TRSG send somebody top as well, as the timing out of that top camp allowed that to start pushing in a little bit.
Looks like we got Uther going up here with Tychus there. Kel'Thas, so they're just kind of clearing around.
And that makes a lot of sense. On the objective on this map anyways, you have plenty of time to come and re-engage. They'll probably be back down by around 50-60%. And no harm, no foul as long as they get the point control back.
So we got Cho'Gall just kind of zoning. It looks like they're going to try and sneak in their turret camp here for the second time. Or nope, looks like they're just going to go straight onto the point.
I think they wisely decided they didn't have enough time there. At 90%, if they had all stopped, I think they lost the point.
Oh, big engage onto the
down on the
Ragnaros. Yep, now going onto the Imperius here, blowing all their cooldowns. But that is a fight won by TRSG. Good engage onto that Ragnaros. A little far forward and got hit with that taunt from the Varian.
So that is I play some Ragnaros, not a ton. That's why I don't love the W build. There are comps that I will go it against, but it puts you in very risky territory, and you don't have nearly as much self-heal as you would in the Q build, and can make it hard to stay alive in some of those fights. They will have plenty of time to try and re-engage here if they want to, though.
And then both teams picked up their healing camp, or their turret camp, sorry, and looking at another engage.
Turret's down, but getting
the
burned.
Again. And getting punished for stepping forward. Good engage from the Varian there. Oh, big stab! Big stab!
But I think it's too little too late.
Yeah, the turn on the Imperius was really well planned there. But we've got Cho'Gall going very low.
There we go.
Really good engage there from TRSG, and then the re-engage on to the Imperius. Great fighting there.
Yeah, I think maybe just a little bit of greed too on the other side. After they lost that first Ragnaros kill, coming back in, they probably should have just given it. Had everybody up to start defending right away. Kept themselves a lot closer to that level 10 instead of it widening that experience gap.
Yep. So I guess what is now they've got the first protector? What is their goal here? What do they want to do with this first protector?
So, pretty much everybody in the history of this map will target the top well, which they did get. The reason they target the top well is because the next protector point is always in the top mid, and I can see that too. A great pull, really, by the Cho'Gall.
Yeah, that saved the Imperius.
Not quite enough. That lava wave has got Kel'Thas though.
Huge lava wave.
Nice.
Right wing goes down.
This is getting a little crazy on this engage. I like it.
Yeah, it's all over the place, but we got a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, Dust finally settles 1-for-1. I will say, though, that Ragnaros was not there, which did allow them to catch up almost a half level in experience as she soaked 2 full waves while that fight was going on.
Yeah, and we are much closer. We're on the same talent tiers now. And ults that we have coming in, we've got the Divine Shield from the Uther, Phoenix from Kael'thas, Odin from Tychus. We do have Shield Wall coming in for Varian, and then the Grab-A-Bomb from Gazlo. So really looking to jump in with the Grab-A-Bomb, get some value, get some stuns, and then Uther to kind of save the team if needed with the Divine Shield. For Brightwing, we do have a great kill. Upheaval, as we saw from Cho. Lava Wave from Ragnaros. Shadow Bolt from Gaul, and then we have the Angelic Armaments from the Imperius with the big old shield.
So as we're looking at talents, I'm going to talk about a talent from a long time ago that I didn't notice until just now. Tychus is level 4. I think he can make it out here with the blink.
Blink kill.
The blink still.
They complete the gank there.
They did use the a couple ults for it, so potentially with Ragnaros' timer being shorter than those ult cooldowns, they could find a good timing to re-engage right after Ragnaros comes back up if they can find a fight that they want. But yeah, the Tychus is level 4. He went into Master Assassin. This is really powerful if you're able to complete the quest. You need 15 takedowns to do it, though.
Divine Shield killed down to save Varian.
And Red really needs to back up here.
Yep.
And the re-engage. Brightwing is dangerously low, though.
A lot of cooldowns. Big fight. And at the end, TRSG comes away with the healing camp.
Secure it to activate the
Yeah, I think that was the team fight they wanted. They just needed Ragnaros there with them. She was still rotating in because she was dead, not because she wasn't following her team.
Good medallion.
Good stat counter.
The Imperius.
That Brightwing blink is gonna save him for now. Upheaval coming in, dragging 2 back, and the polymorph is beautiful there to make sure he can't do anything to save himself.
But the rest of the team is really low.
Ragnarok's Molten Coring is gonna force them to back up. And that was a really good play by her. I think she dies if she doesn't do it. It's unfortunately large cooldown burnt, but if it's to save your life, probably worth.
Yes. Now it gives your chance, your team a chance to heal, re-engage onto the point. And they're gonna come in aggressively.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, got the Cho'Gall here.
It's been a very brawly game. Very fun.
And that's Varian going down. But that's Cho'Gall getting massive Tychus value out of that.
And that is a great Grab-A-Bomb that might result in the double, but just get one of the 2.
Great re-engage by TRSG. And now they have the 16 talent tier advantage, so they're just going to kind of hang out here, and they'll probably get this for free. I don't see We're Scaling being able to re-engage onto this.
Yeah, honestly, I wish We're Scaling would just go do something. It looks like now they're going to. But ultimately, they don't have the manpower right now to defend that fort, and so they want to get counter value elsewhere. They're now doing that on the camp, which is a good call. Just made it a little bit late.
Yep, but it's going to give them a little bit of help in this top lane.
Fire be purged!
Now, so there's a couple things that they can do here. So this top lane is open. They could push it to keep. But what do we typically see on something like this?
So a lot of times you will see them do the same thing they did with that first rotation, go down bottom to take out the well. You will frequently see them push keep if they think they can get it, though. I honestly don't know if they have what it takes here with all 5 up. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they got the wall. We got the Kael'thas out.
It's a good grab. His ult's gonna save him though, and the blink gets him back to full health almost instantly.
Good defense overall by We're Scaling. That could have gone much worse.
Yeah, ultimately they won that trade to the extent of that they could win it after they had lost that protector. They didn't lose the well bottom and they didn't lose the keep top, so there won't be constant catapult pressure.
Yeah, and then we got to re-engage here.
There is this re-engage though, and Cho'Gall might be in trouble. That molten core saving him for now, but the invulnerable on the Uther just gives that ult no view from the Cho'Gall.
And they might catch up to this Imperius here.
Yeah, unless he can demount them, they will. Oh, the blink might get both of them killed, though.
Yeah,
It
they got both,
does.
so now they've got full team wipe here.
Yeah, so with this, what I would actually love to see TRSG do, and I think they're now making that rotation, is go take the keep.
Yep, now with everybody down, they've got this free keep here on top. Can easily push and then come back and still get this split mid, which it looks like the minions are going to end up
Yeah, the minions were taking that fort no matter what happens. The constant catapult pressure top, though, will make the next objective very, very difficult for We're Scaling. Especially since they're kind of down one player as far as how many places they can be in at least. With the Cho'Gall, it makes that macro even harder to handle. The nice thing is they do have that Ragnaros. So hopefully for them, that Lava Wave will time up well, that they can run it down the top lane just as that next point comes up, and they can try and fight a fair 5v5. So it's looking like they might be down 20 talents.
Yeah, it's getting close. So I really like what TRSG is doing here, and grabbing all of the camps. They're taking all of the items away from We're Scaling, so that's going to be an even scarier fight going on to that bottom point. One thing to note is they still have their well. We're Scaling still have their well on the bottom lane, while TRSG does not.
That is true. I think I would personally rather take the 20 talents if I had the choice there, though.
I agree, but it does give them a chance to, if they need to, they can pre-tap. But now they're looking to go aggressive here. They see Ragnaros out here, and it's dangerous.
Yeah, hopefully the meat ball can demount them and get them out of there.
Good medallion. Medallion, I think, saved that right there.
Yeah, it wasn't able to taunt because of that unstoppable from the medallion. It was definitely a good choice.
Yep, now they're looking to take their camp. They're going to have 2 camps pushing in here. And looking to pressure core, it looks like a little bit with the double camp pressure and all of the items on the map.
Yeah, Cho'Gall now making his way back. Ragnaros going to use that Molten Core again for this defense, which is another good choice.
Odin coming out. Gravel bomb. Big gravel bomb. Wow.
That gravel bomb has just been huge for this Gazelle all game.
Yes.
Putting it down at the right time almost every time, and always catching 1 to 3 really sometimes.
Yeah,
that big combo.
Great engagement by him. Fantastic timing. And then the follow-up stun with the Explodium charge. And wow, what a game. What a game.
Yeah. Interesting thing that I tried to bring up earlier but never got to because it was just fighting so often. Tychus went into the Master Assassin. That's a talent you hardly ever see because it's hard to finish. You need 15 kills, which is quite a few. He did finish that pretty early on, though, probably around level 16 or 17 for them. They had gotten to that 15 kill mark, and that gives him an additional 25% attack speed, which is just kind of crazy when he's doing percent damage to a big guy like Cho'Gall.
Yeah, and we can see here 48,000 damage coming out from the Tychus, so they did work on that Cho'Gall.
Yeah, it was kind of like you said. It was kind of interesting that they picked it into the percent damage already being there. A lot of people think Tychus is the best one against Cho'Gall because he's got it early on. A lot of the other notable ones get that talent later on, like Vala ends up working out pretty good against Cho'Gall, but not until much later in the game.
Yeah, and I feel like the taunt from Varian just allowed that Tychus to just sit back and wail away. And just, I don't feel like he was really ever threatened that much. There were a couple Imperius stabs into the back, but just able to sit back and do all that percent damage.
Yeah, I think really well played by TRSG Knights. I think that worse scaling could definitely give them a run for our money in the next game. Sometimes you just kind of get behind and snowballed. It felt like their macro was just unable to keep up early game, and it got to a point where that Ragnaros Lava Wave just wasn't enough anymore because they were so far behind, even by level 10 on that macro game. Be interesting to see what they pull out this time.
Yeah, I would expect to see either a Varian or a Gazlo ban coming through.
Yeah, I definitely felt like that Gazlo was very impactful. Interestingly, you still have the two really strong bruisers at the moment in that Gazlo Diva that nobody seems to want to deal with a lot. So if you do ban out just Gazlo, you risk handing them Diva, which is another one that your team likes to play. So do you leave them up and hope you get it?
Very true.
It's an interesting choice to make.
Yeah, but the I feel like the engages coming off from that Varian really set up TRSG for a lot of the success that they saw in those engages. They were really able to punish somebody just stepping just a little bit too far out in lane.
Yeah, I really agree. I think that they did an excellent job with all of their CC. Really was the game changer for them. They did a really good job lining up CC, and then Tychus was able to just wail away. And if Tychus is able to just wail away, it's going to be a bad day.
What an interesting thing to note. I didn't bring it up in before looking at the summary, but Brightwing got 63,000 healing done compared to the 32,000 from Uther.
Yeah, so Uther's healing is a little bit deceptive because he's also providing armor to his friendly units, but it definitely Brightwing can get a ton of healing done on any really high health pool tank, which is why she's a frequent pairing with Cho'Gall. Also works really well with a Full Souls Diablo or stacking Heart Stitches.
Yep. All right, so it does look like our next map is going to be Hanamura. New map to the pool this year. And picked by TRSG.
Yeah, so interestingly, Hanamura is a map that Worst Scaling has chosen to ban 4 times, which is more bans than any other map. So it seems like one they're not super comfortable on. Volskaya was actually the only map that they were a 0% win rate on coming into today, too. Only 0-1, so nothing crazy there. But it does seem like TRSG is doing a good job of bringing them to maps they don't want to play on.
Yeah, this will be a fun one. A lot of people would say that the real objective are the samurai camp.
Yeah, the samurai camp is one of the strongest camps in the game. It's effectively a boss that's like easier to access than almost any other boss. And if you can get in a good push with it, a lot of times you can do as much, if not more damage than the entire objective does do. So you'll see a lot of times at the highest level, people playing around the objective a lot more on this map. You tend to find in lower levels, you will see people still focusing on the objective because that's probably the easier call to make,
Right.
if nothing else.
All right, we have a lobby up, so we're just waiting a second to get into the draft. Yeah, I'm excited to see what we go into. I think lots of possibilities here. A lot of camp clear possibilities to get to burn your samurais, your turret camps. Then you've got the vision camps in the middle. So there's lots and lots of camps for something that's not really a big map.
Yeah, the vision camps are quite a bit of experience too. So it can be a nice way to get a little bit of an XP jump on your opponent. It does really help with that objective to be able to see where everybody's coming from. If you have control of both of those, it gives you a lot of vision across the map.
Yep.
Feels like you're playing with a Zagara. Interestingly, this is a very good Cho'Gall map, probably by comparison. Most people would say that he's strongest on the 2-lane maps. I don't know if they'll feel like going back into him though after that last game.
Yeah, I would prefer to see the Cho'Gall pick come out a little bit later. And especially maybe avoid if we see it going into a Tychus with some percent damage early on. But I do think you get more value with him in the 4-man as opposed to on a 2-lane map. Sorry, as opposed to trying to rotate in a 4-man.
Yeah, it takes away one of his biggest weaknesses, which is you're down a body to run and do stuff. Can only be in 4 places at once instead of 5.
All right, so I'm interested to see what we have for bans coming up.
I would not be surprised at all. I agree with you. I think one of the real impact players last game was that Gazlo. I think played by Chair Glue. He just did an excellent job setting up some wombos for him. And if I were scaling, I think I would either pick or ban that one away.
Yeah, and they do have first pick, so it is something. If they have somebody that plays Gazlo, they can take it away. They don't have to ban it out here. Yep.
They do choose to just get rid of it, though.
Not surprised. I am not surprised. All right. Again, the ETC ban. I can't blame anybody for banning ETC right now. Still a really strong tank. And then with all the bushes on this map, a lot of places to set up engages.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that the last several patches, ETC's had part of his kit nerfed, and he's still an A-tier tank. He may have also been slightly overpowered for a little bit there. It's okay, though.
I'm not going to complain as an ETC player when any tank is overpowered, as long as I get to play him.
There you go.
It helps potatoes like me excel at the game.
That's how I feel whenever I play tank. So I've got a very limited tank pool, and none of them are very good anyways.
All right, so Kael'thas banned from Weir Scaling, and Deckard. A lot of setup with Deckard. You got the potions that can go down and to stay a while to set up any engages. So I like the bans coming out from both sides.
From order comes justice.
It's about
That Tychus again seems like a favored pick.
Yep, I do like the Stukov here. Lots of choke points, lots of value off of that lurking arm. If you can catch a Tassadar in it and they're silenced, they just can't get away. So I like it.
I really like Stukov with an easy point-and-click CC from one of your other team members. Once you hit level 13 in the Virulent Reaction, if you can follow up, for example, even though he's banned here, an ETC slide with a weighted pustule and then the silence, it is such a long a long route, and you're rooted in the silence, so you can't even medallion yourself away. And it just feels bad. If you get caught in that, you usually die.
Yep. All right. So the Cho'Gall is banned. We did see Diva picked up, and Chromie here on the red side. She made it through the draft. Another hero I think can get a lot of value here with her long range poke and just high damage potential. Especially if we get the Stukov root or the lurking arm. Sorry, with the her sands. I can't think of the name.
The slowing sands is what it's called. It's really generically named.
You know, the spinny sand thing. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, I really like the slowing sands, especially since the medallion change. I don't know. It's a good trade whenever you do the rewind one, and they burn the 5-minute cooldown for a 60-second cooldown. But then you can get a lot of value out of the slowing sands, and don't have to worry about somebody just pressing medallion and walking away, and then you blowing your whole next combo on air where they should have been.
Ready for action!
Yeah, so we've got Garrosh with the Uther. So do we see a Divine Storm this time from Uther?
With every death
The
comes
toss
honor.
with just the stun
honor,
lock forever from
redemption.
Uther. And then Muradin right now, also making a comeback. Seeing a lot of Muradin games coming through. And then Hanzo, a nice kind of long-range poke hero. Get a lot of value out of his scattering arrow with all of the choke points again. So I'm really liking the pickups.
And a Urel to round things out. It'll be an interesting pillow fight between Urel and Diva. I'm not sure who wins that, to be honest.
Yeah, does anybody win? I think they just both sustain forever on the lane, right?
Just auto-attack each other for 20 minutes.
And then everybody fights and we all go home happy, I think, right?
There you go. I do think that that we're scaling has some potential here. I do think that their execution probably requires more skill, which can always be a little bit nerve-wracking if they can't line things up. Muradin has probably one of the hardest to hit stuns of any main tank in the game. Stukov's virulent reaction is hard to hit by itself, so he has to rely on a setup from somebody else usually. But Chromie and Hanzo both have crazy damage potential, and if you can get that stun CC chain after 13 especially, it is a lot. You can do a lot of zoning from Diva. They certainly have a strong combo there, just on them to make sure that they execute it, whereas it's a lot easier as Garrosh. Just walk in, press the throwy button, and then you don't even care if you miss your Q, because once you press the throwy button, you have your healer on top of him, stunning him 4 times in a row because he's Uther. It's just an easy combo to land.
Yep. So we've got here on our blue team, we have Sinclip playing the Uther, Howling Knight on Tychus. We have It's Just Lugo on the Tassadar, Salem on the Garrosh, and we have Chairglue playing the Urel. Who have you got on the red side?
On the red side, we have Tarsuel, who I believe was actually playing their healer last game, on Chromie. Leo on the Hanzo. We got Yanthor on the Muradin. Icarium on the Stukov, and Lexi Decimal on the Diva, which is one of her favorite heroes to pick so far this season, so we'll see how she does in that solo lane.
Yeah, I'm excited to see kind of what happens here. A lot of good poke damage going out here onto the Garrosh.
Yeah, both tanks suffering a little bit, but Muradin can always heal up nice and quickly with his trait value.
Yep, so just kind of you're brawling back and forth down here in the bottom. Looks like our solo lane is
That's exactly what we anticipated.
is about what we expected, with
Both of them hitting the minions and avoiding each other, because they know they do no damage to each other anyways.
we've got very, very early camp here again with TRSG really on top of their camp timings, getting that right as it came up.
Yeah, and this is where I really like starting on the left side of this map. Since the 4-man usually goes bottom, it puts you guys on the same side as that Genji camp. You'll see the other team has to rotate up and then rotate down, which loses them about 10 seconds probably, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you can get 10 seconds worth of push into a wall, if that's timed poorly, you can get most of a wall down with a good sieging team.
Yeah, very well pointed. Both teams really good on their camps here so far. We got both camps taken on the side of TRSG, and then we've got Hanzo finished off his turret camp. And it looks like it's going to be pretty, both teams rotating to clear up that Samurai on, doesn't look like we're going to get too much value out of them. It's still early. So interesting to see how this is going to play out. Both teams posturing for the vision here. So this could go either way. We have Yrel rotating again.
The throw in, but it's on to Muradin, who just easily jumps back out because he's Muradin.
Yeah, but Hanzo's kind of out here with the Yrel.
But it is true, Yrel might have put herself in an awkward position, though. I think she'll get out here, but loses most of her health for it.
Yep, so all in all, pretty even damage trades back and forth. And then Vision ultimately taken by TRSG, where they are going to lose it right away. And then now we've got the payload spawning.
Escort the payload.
We're scaling taking the vision around the payload, so they're not going to get unexpectedly flanked. It doesn't seem like, but they came in early and
Well, see,
in
this
trouble
one not
here.
having the bomb has to run away.
Good damage from both sides.
Yeah, that Hanzo is doing a good job of getting in his poke. He's sitting at 7,000 damage already to lead the game.
Yeah, a good little brawl there. Everybody took a little bit of damage. Gonna go back and get the taps and just kind of hang out in the point, and the car's not gonna go anywhere.
There was that miss stun by Muradin, unfortunately, because they probably could have dealt a little bit of damage to Garrosh there and forced him to back up a little.
Yep. So
Both teams moving towards the actual OBJ on this map, though, in the form of the Genji camps.
Yep, and TRSG with a little bit better timing is gonna have their camp pushing on the lane. Suitor Muradin might be in trouble here.
I think he is in trouble here. He already used the jump, and that wall secures the kill.
Yep, they're just going to go ahead and take this camp, and it's going to be really hard for we're scaling to re-engage back onto this.
Yeah, especially until they get these 7 talents. Maybe you could try and stall for a little bit. Muradin is now back up, but it looks like instead they're just going to go bottom. A decent choice, I think, in this case.
Yep, smart move to get the camp cleared out from both sides. Bottom camp getting a little bit of value, most of that front wall being taken down on the side of we're scaling, and now we have the shots coming in top side from that objective. It is going to take that well down and do a little bit of damage to the fort. So very good early game. TRSG looking good with their camp rotations and their timings.
Yeah, they're definitely looking a little bit sharper here in the early game once again. We do still have we're scaling right in this, though. And hopefully, as the name would imply, they'll be able to scale their way right back in here.
Yep. And
Garrosh eating a lot of damage in that fight. We do see them Tychus coming in to try and save Uther when he jumped back. I think ends up eating all the damage that was meant for Uther in the first place and falling.
Yeah, just a little bit of mistiming on that medallion. I know I've made that mistake too many times. Where I pop it thinking that it's going to break the channel, but you got to get it right at the very end before you get pulled back. So really good time.
I believe it's a 1 second unstoppable, so if you're not within that second, it doesn't help you very much.
Yep, so very good temporal loop there by the Chromie. We do have the Hanzo scaling the target practice. So he's completed 2 of 5. So if he can get that done, that is a really big power spike for him.
Yeah, for sure. Once he gets those piercing arrows, we'll see another very large power spike for Hanzo too. And he's already sitting at top of all damage. He's been doing a good job poking out. If he can keep that up, they might just find themselves a game 3 here.
Yep, I mean, yeah, sitting at 11,000 damage, he's getting a lot of work done. Oh,
Another time loop from Chromie.
But they were able to zone out the damage. But here we've got poking into the Diva. TRSG does have ults here, so they got to be careful.
Diva does have her bomb up as well. If she needs to use that to zone, I think it's definitely worth it. Looks like they're just going to back away, though.
Yep, and TRSG looking to invade this camp. We're Scaling's
They-
got a tough decision.
They don't have the 10 advantage anymore. I would like to see where Scaling rotate up here hard as soon as they clear that and see if they can get there in time.
Yep, I don't think they're going to make it.
Yep, it does not look like it. I honestly wouldn't have mind seeing D.Va there use her bomb just to see if they would back up and buy some time. I think it would have bought enough time for the team to be there.
Yep, and we've got TRSG just kind of rotating around and stealing all the camps. That Samurai camp steal was huge. It pulls them all away, and then that's just additional map pressure that We're Scaling doesn't have. So really good timing, great calls on the side of TRSG.
Yeah, it's really helped them to retake that XP lead too. They were getting pretty close to even, and now they're sporting a half-level lead once again because they rotated around and took all 4 of those camps. A big arrow coming in. He uses his unstoppable though, and it looks like he's going to get out because of it.
Able to zone him out pretty good. There's D.Va. And then taking control of the point here.
Yeah, it does force all of them to back out. Interestingly, though, we do have 2 ults down for We're Scaling and all 5 up for TRSG, so I would be nervous about taking a hard engage here as We're Scaling.
Yep, we've got all 5 members of both teams. A big lurking arm to get to Garrosh
Garrosh
out of the
pushed
way.
out.
Looking to step back in.
Oh, and this is a Bunny Hop D.Va. This is one that is much less popular, but it still can get a lot of value, especially if you take its level 20 upgrade.
Right, it's level 20. I think every 3 hits it stuns, correct?
So that's the level 10 talent. The level 20, if you're not moving, then you don't have a limit to how many bounces you can make. So for example, if you get that level 13 Stukov silence going with the big root, she can just sit there, not move, and bounce indefinitely, since she is also unstoppable, and just kind of blast down the targets and not let anybody else try and come in and save them, or else they just join them in the perma-stun.
Hard engage under the Garrosh here.
And he already used that
Too early,
unstoppable.
too
He's
early.
coming back.
Very good engage by We're Scaling.
Yeah, we have seen that Chromie loop work twice now and burn a couple medallions. It's definitely found its value here.
Absolutely, and then the TRSG getting the Samurai camp again. Now, this is a fight that is going to be tough because they are down a member, down Garrosh for another couple seconds.
Fortunately for them, We're Scaling is kind of forced to go deal with this Genji camp, which is going to buy them some time for Garrosh to get back. Certainly nowhere near the end of this fight yet, though, and I do like what We're Scaling's doing here and taking the quick turret camp before they go for the engage.
Yeah, we got the Chromie time trap right here in the middle, so there we go. Catching the Tychus. Good poke damage coming out.
Yeah, there's so much poke between the 2 assassins on the We're Scaling side. If they can get into a poke battle, that's a battle they should win pretty much every time.
Yep, and the D.Va's got her bomb here in just a second. Merge comes in.
Oh, and D.Va uses her bunny hop, but it's pretty far away from everybody. Still is maybe enough to get this Garrosh kill. It is close.
Fighting is all over the place. This Urel's in no man's land.
They're changing targets over and over again. I would have liked to see him focus a little bit more. I think they would have a couple kills by now, but they still find one. They're looking for a second. Synclip does get stunned. Oh, and there we go. The divine shield to maybe save him. It might not be enough. And that, I think that situation right there is honestly why I personally, as a D.Va, do like those micro missiles. They provide a big slow and probably could have locked down the Urel and the Uther there for some kills. There was some value found in that bunny hop early in the fight, though, so it definitely might have been that was the better choice.
Yep, so it looks like we've got We're Scaling now, moving over to their camp. But it looks like TRSG is going to push for this fort.
And this is a good call by them. They are assuming that the other team is on the camp. In this case, they're right. And they can take it, run away, and they get the free fort, and some passive experience starts trickling in.
Yep, and then this is just going to pretty much allow for a full reset. They'll clear the camp mid. Where Scaly's going to get a chance to push the car in a little bit. They're going to see everybody on top. So they're going to get the whole team here. Then we're looking for another big re-engage.
So where Scaling might be running to try and take the Genji camp here. If the other team does rotate right away, though, they don't have time to fully take this.
Big time trap.
Diva not having her bomb yet up either, and using that bunny hop a little early maybe, but she's still at the point. I think that they win this fight here as long as they stay on the point.
Goes down.
Oh, and they get off the point. Unfortunately, I think they could have left somebody there. This is a brawl and a half. Oh, and a great wall by Tassadar to finish off the Stukov. Turns it in their favor. It is a 3-for-3, but the camp did go over to TRSG Knights. I think it's a scary call to make, but I think if they would have left somebody standing on that point a little bit longer, they could have won that fight and taken the Samurai.
Yeah, I like
Hard
the
call to make for sure, though.
I like the call. They want to be aggressive. They want to be able to take back the lane pressure. I like the call. It just didn't pan out. I thought the Chromie trap was going to be able to stop them in time. And then the Diva not having bomb hurt there a little bit. They weren't able to zone them off at the point.
Yeah, so the big thing to consider whenever you're talking about like a boss camp is what you have up and what they have up to either move somebody off the point or to stay on the point. That Diva Unstoppable with the bunny hop is actually a really good tool. I think she used it a little early though, only with one person in there, and actually 2 or 3 jumps before they even got there. You know they're going to move a couple ons, hold that for a little bit longer, I think, and then you'll start to get more value as it stuns multiple people.
Alright, now we're coming in for a fight. Diva jumping back line, dropping the bomb down.
She is going to use that to zone out. That was really funny. It moved forward on the cart. I've never actually seen that happen. That would have been really funny if it ended up getting a kill from that, but it's probably good that it didn't, since it wasn't really a skill play as much as a luck play.
Yep, so everybody's just going to kind of sit back and gather and re-engage here. So the only, I guess we had Hanzo ult came out. We also had
Chromie's ult is still down as well, but Tychus's ult came out, and that is on a long cooldown, and Black Hole came out, which is on about the same cooldown. So.
Yep. So we've got these. We're Scaling taking their camp. They're able to get it in time.
And Murden should be. Oh, and that was a taunt that might have gotten him. He did.
That was a
and I don't think
taunt.
they can get somebody on this point in time.
Nope,
they
can't
cannot.
fly in. Great engage there. Good, good awareness by the Garrosh there with the taunt.
Yeah, this game definitely much closer, but so far in the most clutch moments, TRSG has found a way to come out on top. We'll see if We're Scaling is able to find an engage here that they like. If they are, they can certainly still take this game. As the later we get into this game, the more those kills mean.
Yeah, and that latest objective did take out the entire keep wall. So that is going to be a much easier lane to push, and their camp does push bottom. So it's a nice way to kind of open it up and give this Samurai camp a little more push potential. I do like, they are both on even talent tiers, so everything on the map is off, and we've just got TRSG looking for an engage somewhere.
Yeah, I actually, as we're scaling, you kind of want this engage here. If you let things just continue as normal, eventually they're going to have a level 20 that you're not going to want to fight into. Ideally, you find a time to fight before level 20 where you're both on those 16 talent tiers and try and find a pick. And therefore level up that, or even up that experience rather a little bit so that you can hit 20s at the same time.
Yep. And we've got just the members of TRSG rotating around as 5. They don't want to get caught in some kind of bush gank or anything like that. They want to roam as a team, which is smart at this point. They have the XP lead. They're looking to hit 20s first. And you don't want to get caught by any weird rotations and ganks by splitting up your lanes. I think it's smart by them right now.
So this is a bold call. It could definitely work out for them here. I think it will. Yeah, they're just going to trade those turrets.
Got 4.
That is a big arrow.
No follow-up, but it did save
Not
the keep.
quite getting the keep, though. So good defense there. Again, a little bit of a bold call just because like they want to find a fight before level 20 on the side of where scaling to some extent kind of wants to just keep the status quo until 20 and then force a fight as soon as they hit it.
Yes. Anything they can do to double soak and just get any kind of XP, make up some of that XP. But they do grab the samurai camp, and we've got TRSG posturing down here for this bottom.
They're going to run bottom to try and get the keep, but they will be in vision, and everybody's going to be here to defend. I think they should just back up here, seeing that the other team is already in place.
Yep, they don't have the Urel. Urel went top to soak a wave, just get him a little bit farther ahead. Genji, or not Genji, sorry, you were talking about Genji camp. She got me all mixed up. Hanzo has completed his target practice, so...
they're brothers. It's fine.
And then Chromie also completing her level 1. So she has the extra sand clones, I believe, from her Q. And going into a fight here. Can go either way.
And this is the fight that they want by where scaling.
Yeah,
it could definitely go either way, but this is the one they want to take. 420s come in.
Yeah, if I'm TRSG, I kind of want to delay this out, soak some waves, and see if I can just delay it long enough to get 20s.
Oh, and great sandblast by Chromie, bringing down that Garrosh to about half health. He's going to be able to heal up by Uther, but Uther does have those long cooldowns if they can keep poking in here and then maybe find an engage. A flip on Muradin, but everybody else is rotating the long way around.
Black hole. This is everybody there in the middle. Garrosh really low.
Urel low. Uther using the healing on himself, but Muradin, the first one, oh, and Lexi Decimal unable to use her bomb because of the CC, even though she had it up. That feels bad when you're a D.Va player who's unable to just press that button before you're killed.
Great taunt timing there by the Garrosh to prevent that. I believe that's what came out and stopped the bomb.
Blue team has destroyed.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure. It definitely might have been. I didn't see what the CC was that did it, but she was locked down and unable to use it.
Now, TRSG going in to the final stage of this game. They do have 20. Interesting note, they did take out the keep down in bottom lane. So with this camp they're taking down here, it's going to really put the pressure on rear scaling. The game is not over by any chance.
I would have really liked to see a scout by Hanzo's arrow there. They would have been able to see there was only 2 there, and they could have stalled that until all 5 were back up. Probably would have had to give it because of the level 20s anyways, but anything you can do to stall to get yourself closer to that level 20 is good right now.
Yep, and now they're smartly using their level 20 advantage and just taking everything off the map that they can. And now going to posture up for this keep with that camp.
One nice thing here is that Chromie does have her piercing sands, and she gets her level 20 at 18. That can help a lot in this defense if she's able to get a good value out of it. And that hop, kind of interrupted weirdly by the wall, ends up with Muradin dying. I think if he would have not glitched up a little bit, thank you for that Blizzard, he might have been far enough away to miss that Q. It was close.
Wow, and all these fights have been so close. They really could have gone either way. Great poke damage coming out from Tassadar there. Just throwing those Qs out and just chunking down the Muradin. Now they're going to pressure 4 here. They have the 20 advantage. They're all pretty low. Oh, Uther goes down. They can re-engage onto this. We're scaling.
D.Va doing a really good job of holding him back. Makes him unable to finish. Uther is down for quite a lot longer than Muradin here. They might be able to force a 5v4 if they can find a good place to get him trapped in.
Yeah, I'd like to see him go aggressive.
I'm glad someone
Posture up on the other
benefits
team's
from my
camp,
suffering.
but they're probably making the smarter move by clearing up the catapults, pushing out the lanes, taking some of the pressure off the court. I'd like to see.
Yeah, it's always a hard call to make when you see minions moving in, but they do still have that 20-second window till Uther is up. I wouldn't mind seeing a hard engage here. You need to find a pick, stagger some deaths. That's how you're gonna be able to drag your way back into this game.
Yep. I'd like to see
So
some aggression coming in, but they're doing the smart plays. They're playing safe. They're grabbing some camps. They're gonna get themselves some items.
They have them in vision, and they know that Uther can't be there with them yet. It doesn't look like they're going though. I would have loved to see, especially after they had them in vision there, a hard rotate and 5 going up. Now Uther is coming back to the team, and now they have to back out and run away.
Got catapults on core. Haven't done a ton of damage yet, but Diva did get back in time to clear him out. So right now, for We're Scaling, this is the moment. This is where they've got to come in. They've got to get the fight. And
yeah, that pre-level 20 fight, losing that one hurt a lot. It kind of made the rest of the game a do or die. If they make one more mistake, it will be over.
Garrosh is in here.
Garrosh rooted in that virulent reaction. If he doesn't have an unstoppable, he does. Oh, he almost mistimes it. He did blow both of them because he was afraid he mistimed the first one.
Bomb. Zone's
Bomb thrown out of the way by Garrosh. A little bit unfortunately, they used their turret there, which makes it hard to re-engage. They kind of need to get on this point, though. I think that's going to be enough to finish core.
Didn't realize that it's now the third one, and it's going to be pushing.
I believe that might be game. I'm not sure exactly how strong this is with the samurai moving in bottom too, though. It has to be. This is going to be the checkmate move.
Yeah, I don't know if they can
there's no way they can defend this in time. They'll just rotate down. I think the shots alone might finish it off here.
With the samurai damage on it.
A great silence by Stukov to hold them back.
They're
It's still just not going to be enough. The invulnerable by Uther. Yeah, you just had to run it down and right-click core there. It was too much damage after they gave up that objective. You needed to just dive in and see if you could make something happen. A really good game played throughout, though. A few small mistakes here or there, but We're Scaling did put up a much better fight in that one. Really did show that these teams are on even par. They just had a bad game 1 and unfortunately lost a close game 2.
Yeah, and that was a really close game there. A lot of those fights really could have gone either way.
Well, a lot of them really did. You can see the kill count at 9-9. They put up a very good fight. The map didn't look like it because they just like I kind of said partway through. It seemed like in the biggest moments, TRSG was able to get the kills instead. When it really mattered on those objective fights and around the Genji fights, TRSG kept coming out on top. But overall, the fighting really was pretty even. TRSG just got more out of it when they did win those fights.
Yeah, that was, I mean, and looking there, the Chromie with 81,000 damage.
Followed up by a Hanzo with 71,000 and 0 deaths. Their damage dealers definitely did their part there. Both of them with 4 kills as well, so they were getting the finishes off. Just not quite able to get what they needed.
All right. We are going to get an interview here. Just waiting for a representative from TRSG.
Here, okay.
Hey, you made it. All right.
Get out.
Congratulations. Very well played game.
It's like the complete opposite of our entire season so far.
No, I mean I'm really impressed. Your game, it was very clean. Your camp timings were very crisp. Is that something you guys have been working on?
Overall, Chair Glue is our camp timer. He's very aware of him. Our information shot calls are usually through Chair. He's like, hey guys, camp's been up 30 seconds. Oops, sorry, we're on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Game 1. Kind of walk us through, what was your strategy going in? I mean, you in We're Scaling, you guys were pretty even in the standings. So did you just scout them out? Were your bands target bands? Like, what were you looking at? What was your strategy going in the game?
we did target ban a little bit, but it was kind of hard to get a read on them in our research because they shuffle around their roles so much. So we just went with like, oh, well, they have people who play these, and it's usually hard on us. So we went ahead and we banned the things we didn't want to see. Then
Yeah.
they picked up the Cho'Gall, and I was like, don't worry, we got Tychus. And we were looking at it, Gall was their only team fight advantage, really, in terms of damage. And I was like, that might actually end up costing them.
Yeah, and that
With the
Tychus,
Tychus.
that Tychus was able to get a lot of value, especially with the variant taunt, where he was just able to sit back and just wail away with that trait.
It's been a lot of fun learning Tychus and getting to play him.
Yeah, and he got some much needed love recently.
Yeah, I mean, I used to take the old version of press forward, where if you dashed, you got an extra range.
Right.
Or press the advantage. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's. I could just look. Yeah, press the advantage. I used to always take the old version of it, and so when they changed it, I was like, perfect. My play style got a buff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always
been a
nice
lot of
when Blizzard buffs the builds that we like to play.
Right. Yeah. They did
Um,
the same thing with my Tracer too recently. I was like, oh, cool. My talents that I take got buffed. Nice.
That Gazlo, though, a lot of value in that first
Yeah.
game. Gravabombs, really setting up a lot of kills. Is that something you guys have worked on since the recent buffs?
Yeah, he's Chair did not play Gazlo before the season. Actually, this is his first season with it, and I'd say it's getting a lot of value. It's doing really well.
Yeah, it was definitely impactful, especially following up from the variant taunts. It was just an extra layer of stuns. Now, moving on to game 2, I guess what was your thoughts going into Hanamura, because that was your map pick, correct?
Correct. We've just had really good luck on Hanamura, and we were like, okay, we can basically run the same kind of comp and remember our camps. So it's basically what we did. We figured they ban it. It's usually on their perma ban list, and since it got through, they must not like it very much. And we do. So.
Nice.
And actually, that makes 2 days in a row we've gone to Hanamura and won, because we just had another game yesterday.
That's great. 2 wins in a row and got a nice
Oh yeah,
win streak.
it's feeling amazing. It feels amazing.
Well, and it's really giving you a push for the playoffs.
Yeah.
you're-
I'm very excited. I didn't think we'd get it, and we still have a chance now with these 2 wins. It's very exciting.
You're right in the mix, and especially with this one coming 2-0, get you 3 points. You're going to be right there in it. Dark Horse, do you have any questions?
I don't think I have a ton. Very well played. Very brawly throughout, sometimes by your guys' choice, sometimes by the other team's choice. Just kind of kept pressing in, which are always fun games to watch. So I think, honestly, was saying that Gazlo a ton of value in game number 1. If you had to pick an MVP that you thought for game number 2, what would you say?
Oh, I'm not really sure. We got a lot of value with all of the things we picked up. I will say that I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I'm sorry
Maybe
for
the
asking hard
Taskar?
questions. No, you are good. The
I
Taskar
was
did
so
have a couple
into
good
it that I was
walls.
like, oh, can I point out? And I got nothing. We were surprised to see them pick up the Stukov, for sure. We were actually trying to take it. We were hovering it and everything. I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they've shown that one much based off what I was looking at. So maybe a little bit of them trying to pick a denial pick. I did
that's
mention
what we-
honestly, when you guys were going to Hanamura and Volskaya, those were both maps that the other team either had been banning or lost on. Were those choices intentionally because they didn't like them, or because you liked them, or a little bit of both?
So we didn't get to pick the first one. I mean, we could have, but I didn't do that. But we're generally pretty comfortable on it. It's actually one of our stronger maps. But second one was definitely a target pick for the maps. We saw they didn't like it and they didn't perma-ban it this time, and we were like, all right, let's go there then. It's another one of our strong maps.
Very
Makes
nice.
sense. I think that's all that I have.
Very nice. I don't have anything else. Congratulations on the win. Do you have any shout outs?
To my team, definitely. Everybody played really, really well. We actually brought it, and it's awesome. I'd like to thank Thana as well for helping us out on the side and teaching us a few things that we definitely needed. Shout out to you guys for casting. Thank you
you.
very much for that.
Our
And a
pleasure.
shout out to the other team. Thank you for participating and bringing it. Look forward to more in the future.
Absolutely. I can say it was a pleasure to cast. This was a really fun game to watch. And all the viewers definitely got to show a lot of team fights. Really exciting. So congratulations on the win and best of luck going into the last couple weeks of the season.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. All right, and with that said, we are going to wrap up the cast. Thank you, everyone, for watching. It was really fun. This was my very first solo cast, or I guess main cast, because I do have Dark Horse with me. Dark, do you have any final comments for the night?
No, just thanks for having me. This actually was my first co-cast, so a bunch of firsts. This is my first one ever, so I definitely had a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the games. I do want to say thank you to Robert, Lexi Decimal, Banky, Postman Pat, and Icarium for the follows during the cast. Very, very much appreciated. I'm going to look to do this more often. I'm going to try and pick up a game every week or so. So I look forward to sitting here and casting for everybody. So great games. Thanks for watching, and have a good night, everybody.